Hi, welcome to Undead Yarn. This is episode 43. My name is Heidi, and you can find me on Ravelry as Knitty Girl, and on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter as Knitty Girl 1. It's been a while, so this is going to be kind of a longer podcast, so I would recommend going to get yourself some tea or coffee, or if it's in the evening, grab yourself a glass of wine or a beer and come and hang out. I'm going to go ahead and get started on my works in progress. Right now I'm looking at my tea because it's still steeping. I don't know if I can show you guys this. I'm going to try after I can get the... Right now I am making some chrysanthemum tea, and I wanted to show you guys what it looks like because it's very different, and I've had some people ask me when I had it actually in the cup. I used to have a different kind of infuser to drink with. What is all that in your cup? Because it looks like worms. Actually, they don't look like worms now, but it's actually the blossoms, the chrysanthemum. I think it's dried chrysanthemum, if you can see that. And this actually is my favorite kind of tea. I have a friend who is very into the Japanese culture, and she loves to go to a lot of the Asian markets, and we were looking through the teas, and I found this it's not dandelion tea, chrysanthemum tea, and she said, "Oh, yeah, that's tea that's very popular in Japan, or maybe it's not in Japan, but in another part of the area of the world." And I was really curious, so I tried it. I bought it and I tried it, and I love it. I've been having tea every day, at least two glasses every day. And that's on top of my 2 cups of coffee every day. But I am doing better with trying to get rid of all that sodas and stuff. Anyway, this is a knitting podcast. And let me go ahead and start talking about what I've been working on. I've been working on my Quaker yarn stretcher, and the pattern is by Susan Ashcroft. I have Stitch Nerd Designs, and the yarn is Fiber Nymph, an enclave of yellows. And I'm getting pretty far along now. I love the way it's striping and the way the colors are coming out. This pattern is really great for this. Let's see how much I have left. I still have quite a bit left. I still have this much left, so it's going to be a work in progress that I'll probably be working on for a while. But I love the way the colors are coming out. And I'm trying the lighting a little bit different. I have my light over here, but I'm trying not to put it directly on me because it seems to wash me out. I'll have to... I think the colors still look good. If the colors don't show up as well in the yarn, I may have to go back to the other way. Because actually the yarn is more important than me. So that's the first work in progress. Then I started a bunch of new things. One of them I did not bring up here. Figures. I went downstairs to get it and I did not pick it up. So I guess I'll show you the other 2 things, or the other thing that I have. I also started a Georgia on My Mind, which is a pattern by Leslie Thompson, and this is for the SSK knit along. Right now they're doing a knit along with anybody who is attending SSK that has patterns. You can knit one of their patterns. And you get extra points if you also use the yarn of somebody who's going to be vending, but I decided to use my own. Anyway, this is Georgia on My Mind. You can see there's a seed stitch panel. And I did a heel flap, and I actually like the way it came out. You know, sometimes when you do a regular heel flap, it doesn't look that great with the self-striping yarn, but I like the way this one came out. Yeah, it does disrupt the stripes. They look different, but I still like it. So this is my first one. Hopefully I will finish this in time before the knit along is over. And I'm putting it in my, I just love this bag. I keep using it when I finish a project. In my, what is it? Little Monkey Stitch and Spin bag, and it's the one that has the Pac-Man on the outside and Space Invaders on the inside. So that's one thing I'm working on. I also started working on the Whiz Popper shawl, which is by Laura Linneman, and I'm using my Undead yarn in the Others base, and if you've followed me on Instagram, you've seen pictures of that. Let's see if I have my phone, maybe I can show you. It's basically, it's pretty neutral colors. It's blue and gray, and kind of an ecru color. Let's see if I can pull it up so I can show you, at least show you what it looks like, since I don't have it with me. I know I've taken a couple pictures. Here we go, here's one. I don't know if you, yeah, you can see the colors in there. It's very subtle colors. And I think this is going to turn out to be a really nice big shawl when I'm finished with it, because I'm using 2 skeins of my DK weight yarn, which is in the werewolf base, and I'm almost done the first one, and it's 400 yards a piece, and I'm going on to the second one, so I think the shawl will be nice and will be able to cover me. I like bigger shawls because they actually keep you warm instead of just make your shoulders being warm. So that's my second, or my third work in progress. I actually have 2 FOs. Well, one, people probably wouldn't call it technically an FO, but it is an FO for me because I'm using it as a shop sample. And I may go ahead and knit some more socks out of these, but this is Undead yarn in Pennywise colorway. And this is the variegated Pennywise. I think I showed y'all. That looks great, yeah. I'll get up close to I can show the colors really well. This is in the Pennywise variegated colorway. You know, I also have the gradients of Pennywise. And so this is going to be a shop sample. So for me, it's really a finished object. But I know most people would say that's just a hoe. But I actually have a lot of yarn left because I don't have very big feet because I'm a short person. So I may be able to knit a pair of socks for myself out of that too. And that's in the Vamfiri base. And I have an actual finished object. And this I also was knitting for the SSK Knit Along. This is my Undead yarn. Yeah, I did a lot of Undead yarn. I'm kind of starting to think about show season. You know, in the fall I'll be vending for the first time at Stitches. It will be our first Stitches in Texas, which is kind of exciting. Anyway, this is a new colorway that I came up with, and this is Demeter's Shawlette by Laura Linneman. And I did change the edging. Instead of doing, there was a garter stitch edging with beads. I didn't use beads. I just did a 5x5 ruffle on the edge. And this is a new colorway. This is called Mike and Sully, after Mike and Sully from Monsters, Inc. You can see it's got and it is a self-striping, and I decided as an experiment to do a shawl with it. I know most people don't seem to use their self-striping yarn in shawls, but I've seen a lot of shawls knit with Noro, so I thought, why not try it with an indie dyed yarn? And I really like the way it came out. This colorway, I am not sure if I'm gonna do. I may just do it straight up like this, or I may also do it so that you can have matching socks in this colorway. But I'm very pleased with the way this turned out, and this is in my BFL base, which is the Wizard base. And I'm very happy with it. I haven't blocked it yet, but it's kind of one of those shawls. It looks great even before you block it, I guess, because it's not really a lacy shawl. But I am going to block it because I want to see if I can make it bigger. And let me see if I get up closer, you can probably see. There are neon colors. It's a neon purple. And not all the green is not all neon. And the blue is not all neon. But it is a neon purple, and there is a chartreuse in there. I'm very happy with the way this one came out. So that's all I've worked on. I don't have any spinning. I'm mostly just trying to see if I can get some points for SSK, because I missed the last knit along, which was the Susan Ashcroft knit along. I didn't finish my shawl in time, so hopefully, well, at least I have one entry so far. Hopefully I can finish the other two. I did want to go ahead and right away talk about the autism awareness knit-along. I did say that I was going to pull for a prize each month, and so I pulled for the April winner. And the April winner is going to win this lovely chartreuse color. It's Manos del Uruguay, and it's a bulky yarn. It's a chartreuse. So you can't, I don't know if it's coming out quite as bright as it is. It is a neon green. It's like the neon greens that I dye. And it's 100% wool. I'm trying to see if it says that. It is 100% wool. So this is a hand wash, but the person who won for this month was, I pulled number 53, and her name, it's Squeaky J is her Ravelry name, and her name is Joyce, and she's from Kenosha, Washington. So Joyce, if you would PM me and tell me your address, I will send this Manos off to you. So congratulations on winning for this month. There have been some really cool FOs. I think there's maybe one or two that does not quite meet the criteria for the neon, or not neon, but the bright colors. But I didn't happen to pull anybody that, I didn't pull someone who didn't have a brightly colored item. So their winner. Just keep in mind, if you post something in that thread that is not a bright, doesn't have any bright colors in it, it's not going to be eligible for prizes. I probably won't delete anybody's post, but if I pull your number and your object that you put in, and remember, you can do weaving and spinning too. If the object that you put in is not brightly colored, which is part of our requirement for the autism awareness knit-along, if I pull your name, you're not gonna be eligible for the prize. So please make sure that you're putting brightly colored items in there. And I did want to say a little bit about autism awareness. April was Autism Awareness Month, and I've posted a couple of videos, and I've sent some information to the ladies at Pinhook and Needles, since they're the ones who started the knit-along. In talking to them and in talking to families, it seems that after the people reach the age of 21, there's not always as much support. And I did want to say that I know in our area, I run a knitting meetup on meetup.com, and there are lots. If you've never been to meetup.com and you need a knitting group, or you want to find a group to meet people who have similar interests, that's a good place to look. But I do remember at one point, I'm not sure if it's still there, that Austin had a meetup group for people with autism or families of people with autism, so that they could just get together socially. And I'm sure that the getting together socially would help them to also be able to trade information on where to get help and suggestions and things like that. So that is one place that you can check if you have somebody in your family who is either an older person with autism or even a younger person with autism. You can look on meetup.com, and they may have a meetup like that in your area. I also know that there are agencies that help out with older people, but I'm not sure if they go beyond age 21. But I would research. If you are looking for some help, do a Google search. You can also check in with school districts. Our school district, I know, will help people if they want to be in a group with families that have autism. I know there's a group in Austin, and as far as I know, it's not exclusive to people with children with autism. I think it's a group for everybody, and they get together regularly. So I would, if you're looking for extra help, I would kind of Google your area, talk to other people that you know that may have a person with autism in their family, because you never know what kind of help you're going to find. And I also wanted to say that thank you to everybody for purchasing the Autism Awareness colorway. I have you guys have raised so far $88 for me to send to Autism Speaks. And I might have to send them a check, because I keep trying to put it on their website and it's not taking my credit card. I'm like, And it keeps changing the number. It keeps saying there's an error, but it changes one of the numbers on the credit card. And I'm thinking, you guys need to fix your website if you want donations. Anyway, moving on from that. Again, Joyce, get in touch with me through Ravelry and I will send this out to you. I also wanted to start talking about, I forgot. I was going to mention that I was gifted the Handbrake Cal that's written by Kay Jones by Marlicia of Penhook and Needles podcast, and I wanted to mention it. It's a lovely cowl, and I think a lot of people might already know about it, but all the proceeds from that cowl are going towards cancer research. I believe it's very close to the Bakery Bears heart, because I think one of the two that run the podcast has had personal experience with that. So the cowl is not very expensive. It's a little over $1. And if you don't want to knit it yourself, maybe you could gift it to somebody else who may be interested. And I encourage you to go and take a look at that, because all of the proceeds from that are going to go to cancer research. In the last couple of weeks, I have gone to my knitting group in the domain, and we just kind of talked about meetup.com a little bit. That's where you can find my knitting group. If you're interested in coming, we are at the Whole Foods in the domain every fourth Sunday. I encourage you to go look at meetup.com and join the Austin Knitting and Crochet group in order to be able to sign up for it. But even if you don't sign up for it, if you would like to stop by and knit with us, that would be great. We're going to be on the top floor. And I did have my group a couple weeks ago. That was nice. And yesterday, my husband and I went to see the Avengers, The Age of Ultron. Is it Ultron? Yeah, I think it's Ultron. He had all kinds of criticisms about it. I thought it was enjoyable. It wasn't I don't think it was as clever as the first Avengers movie, but it was enjoyable. There was a lot of action in it. So if you like the Avengers, I guess you'll probably like this movie too. I do have quite a bit of enabling, so I will go ahead and start showing that. You're going to hear some crinkling because I didn't take these things out of their sleeves yet. I don't think I showed this last time. Maybe I did, but I don't think so, because I don't believe this had come in yet. No, I don't have it written down, so I suspect I didn't. This is Rock and String Creations. She was having a sale, and so I went and looked at her shop. And this is some Cheviot, and it's my thing is that I'm trying to try as many different kinds of fibers as I can. I want to try them all and see what they're all like, because they all spin differently, and I think that's a lot of fun. I love the colors. You know, it's got my neon pink in there, but then it has browns and purple too. So this is going to be fun, and this lady is one of the people who will be at the Into the Wool retreat. And here is another thing I bought, also one of the people who runs Into the Wool. And I have to mention that I mistakenly said that my Yowza Weigh It shawl was by another crafty girl, the yarn, but no, it wasn't. It was by Dana of Unwind, and it was in the Hotel California colorway, that beautiful golden color I used with that huge skein of targhee. Lovely. I love it. It was also, that's a worsted weight yarn. But she is going to be having a baby soon, and so she will not be dyeing fiber any longer. And while I looked at her fiber and I wanted to buy some of the dyed fiber, I think this, I'm not sure if this one is dyed or not. It may have naturally been this way, but oh, I can't see that. This one has yak and merino in it. I was like, that is mine. It's beautiful gray colors. There's her card. But it's beautiful gray color, and I've kept it in here too. I don't want to open them until I'm ready to spin them. So those were my 2 fiber purchases. And then I also got, I was watching the Den Knits podcast, and she's a designer. I forget where she lives, but I want to say it's probably in the north somewhere. Anyway, I was watching the Dead Knits podcast, and she had knit these socks that were so cool. I loved the way that the yarn knit up in the socks, because there was like a spiral of color going up the edges. And, well, when you see it, you'll know why I bought it, because these are totally my colors. This is Firefly. It's called Sturdy Sock. The colorway is Firefly, and this is by Diabolical Yarns. And I've always wanted to buy something from her, and I never have, but when I saw the way that this knit up, I just had to have it. Look at that. Yellow, bright orange, and black. And I am so looking forward to making socks with this, because I really love the way that it looked on the Dead Knits podcast. And I've seen these so many times, and I've always wanted to buy one, and I just never did. So she also makes soaps. So I bought one of her octopus soaps, and you get to pick the color, and I picked a brown because I was picking brown sugar and fig as the scent. And I can't really smell it through here, but I'm looking forward to using it. But it's so pretty. I had to wait. I wanted to use it right away, but I had to wait because I wanted to show you guys how cool it is. And that is, again, Diabolical Yarns. She's been around for a long time. Oh, and I almost forgot my last purchase from the Silver Shed. Knitty Barb from Two Knit Lit Chicks had posted that she had bought a bag from the Silver Shed studio, and look, it's the puzzle pieces for autism awareness. Well, like the puzzle pieces from autism awareness, it's got some extra colors in it. I know autism awareness does not have the purples and the oranges and pinks, but it's a puzzle piece bag, so I had to have it. And look, it's got a detachable clasp handle, and you're gonna not be surprised by what I put in here. I put in my autism awareness colorway in here, and I think I know I said I was going to do that South Bay Chalette, but I found another pattern that looks might look better with this kind of variegated yarn. It's called, I forget what it's called, but it's kind of one of those side-to-side shawls, and it's a crochet shawl, and I really need to get some more crochet shawls done, so that's what's going to be in here, and I'm going to get to this as soon as I finish my SSK stuff. But I love her bags. The Silver Shed Studio makes really, really good bags. The other bag I showed you that I bought from Leading Men Fiber Arts, their website. It's a bigger bag, and it's just as strong and sturdy. The fabric is very nice and tough too. So if you are looking for a bag, that's a definite good place to look. I wanted to mention a couple of podcasts that I started watching. I'm really enjoying watching Knitting Expat, and her name is Mina, and she is living in Bahrain right now. And she's lived in many different places, and I just find that really interesting. I like to hear about different places, and since I've never traveled overseas, I've only been outside of the country to Mexico and Canada. Haven't had a chance to travel to Europe yet, but I'm finding her podcast very interesting, and she knits some really beautiful things. She doesn't just knit easy things, she knits things that are difficult. And she has just made her first shawl pattern, and she's looking for test knitters. So I will go check her out. She's on YouTube. And I also wanted to mention one of my listeners is now has a podcast, and her name on Ravelry is Pharmagurumi. And her podcast is really cute. I love the name. It's called Yarnaceuticals, because she's a pharmacist. And she has a lot of interesting things to show you. She has some finished objects that I hadn't seen before, and I love one of them. I won't say what it is on here since this is a clean podcast, but she has these little crocheted projects that she said everybody keeps asking her to make, and she's getting tired of making them, but they're really funny. So I'll let you go check that out and see that for yourself. I also have been listening to this show called The Creative Yarn Entrepreneur, and it's by a lady named Maria who lives in New York City, and she is a designer. and she has a very informative podcast. If you have a yarn business or you're considering going into doing something related to yarn, I would recommend checking her out. She's got a lot of good information, and she is also very responsive. So if you have questions, you can email her, or you can ask her on Ravelry, and she's responsive on Twitter as well. So I would check that one out too. What have I been watching? Well, last night we finished watching House of Cards Season 3, and oh my god. I think Claire and the hubby are doomed. It is not looking good for that relationship. And then I binge watched seasons 1 and 2 of Orphan Black. Oh, I am in love with that show. It's so interesting and it's so creepy. It's about this project, this cloning project that the government did. Started with just a scientist trying this out, and the government got involved and the military got involved, and there's many women who look exactly the same, but they're not the same. They're all really different. So, and they're finding out all kinds of interesting information about themselves that they were kept in the dark about. So it's really creepy and it's really interesting. I've watched a little bit of 666 Park Avenue, and that one really has a really evil undertone, and so I have not watched a whole bunch of them at one time, but I do think I'm going to enjoy it because it's really creepy. It's has to do with not a hotel, it's an apartment building, and the people who live in there are seem to all be pulled in by the landlord somehow, and the landlord is really, really evil. I haven't decided I don't know yet if he is actually the devil or if he's just, I don't know, but it's very creepy, and he manipulates the people who live in the apartment complex. Very creepy. But you know I like creepy. And then we also watched Derek Season 3. We're not done with that one yet, but if you haven't watched Derek and you like, I guess you could say it's heartwarming, but I really like it because it's about people who are very different, and they live in it's about a nursing home and the people who work there, and the people who work in the nursing home are all incredibly different, and a lot of them are different kinds of people. They're not your run-of-the-mill regular person with a regular job. They all have different backgrounds and come from different lives. Some of their lives were not very good, or some of them just had a rough time. But it's really it's a really heartwarming. Well, I'm gonna say it. It's kind of heartwarming, and you really pull for these characters, even though some of them are kind of jerky. And that one has Ricky Gervais in it, and he does not play a character you would ever expect him to play. It's really good. I saw one movie that is well, I don't know if it's worth mentioning. It's called The Babadook. It was really scary, and I guess I'd give it 3 stars. It's got to do with a children's book, and the children's book becomes real and creepy and scary. That's all I guess I'm going to say about that. It wasn't my favorite movie, but it was pretty good. And right now I am reading The King by J.R. Ward. I'm still reading that. It's taken me a while to get through. It's a big book, but I'm enjoying it. And it's her typical vampire king. It's about the vampire king and his family. I also finished reading The Hedge Knight, which is it's a prequel to Game of Thrones, and it's in comic form, and it's written by George R.R. Martin, but I'll tell you, I was kind of disappointed in it. It wasn't as exciting as Game of Thrones. Maybe you can't put as much info into a comic, but it was okay. I don't think I'm going to read the next one. And then I also was listening to Annel's Ghost by Michael, I'm not sure how to say his name, Undead J, maybe. He also wrote The English Patient. This was a really good book. I wish that I had actually read it instead of listened to it, because it jumps around in time just like The English Patient. You know, it may start in the past, and then next scene is in the future, or the next scene is in the present, and I find that hard to listen to on tape. I would kind of blank out maybe, and then I'd be like, okay, where are they now? What time is this? Where are we? But it's about an archaeologist, and it's set in Sri Lanka, and it's about an archaeologist who has been brought in as a forensic person to find out what's going on, because there are a lot of deaths being reported. And this is a very political book. You don't get the full effect of how political it is until the end, but it's a good book. I enjoyed it. I just wish I had read it instead. Oh, and I wanted to say we had a new FO in the FO thread for Undead Yarn, and it was Timmy the Timid Turtle by Franciscan Gypsy Designs. So Talia, if you will PM me and let me know what $7 or less pattern you would like, I will give that to you. And she is actually the one who designed, Talia's the one who designed the pattern. It's a big poofy turtle. I think he's cute. She used 3 different kinds of Undead yarn. Oh, now probably what most of y'all are waiting for. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the shawl along. I closed the thread on May 1st, and I've pulled for the 4 prizes. I forgot when I pulled, I didn't write down the number, but I do have everybody's name down here. The person who won the $10 or less pattern was Phoenix Fire, and she is Tracy from North Carolina. So Phoenix Fire, let me know what $10 or less pattern, giftable, and Ravelry that you would like. The person who won my shop yarn is actually somebody that I know that I met at Dallas-Fort Worth Fiber Festival. Her Ravelry name is Melrog, and it's Melissa from San Antonio. So congratulations, you get to pick something from my shop. So let me know what you would like. You can pick anything except for the Autism Awareness colorway, because that is proceeds for that go to charity. So anything that's available in the shop right now, I can send to you. And then somebody won a bag from Sew For You, and that is, I believe she's Knit and Pearl Girl on Ravelry. The person who won is Lisa from Maryland, so I will contact her and see how she wants to work that out. My guess is she will, after I let her know who the winner is, when you contact her, she'll probably tell you that you can pick something from her shop, I think. I'm not sure exactly how she's going to do that, but it will be something, a bag that she has available in her shop, I'm assuming. And then the person who won the Miss Babs BFL in the Funny Papers colorway is Starling Bird, and she didn't have a name, so I'm not sure what her name is, but she is from Boston. So Starling Bird, if you would let me know what you would prefer. I'm sorry. What am I talking about? You'll get the Miss Babs BFL in Funny Papers, so send me your address so I can get that out to you. And I am really surprised this is only at 33 minutes. I really thought this was going to be a longer podcast, but maybe I rushed. I hope I didn't rush. I hope that everything was clear. I'm just at that very busy time of year, and I'm hoping to put another podcast out towards the end of this month. I'm not sure if it'll be in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but once school is over, then I will be more back to having my more regular podcasts. Anyway, I guess since I'm done, I don't know, I think I've done everything. I will say get busy knitting or get busy dyeing.